Ladies and gentlemen, you stand at the edge of a great truth, not one hidden in ancient scrolls or buried beneath temples, but within you, in the silence of your own mind. You are your own lottery ticket, not a piece of paper, not a number drawn by chance, but a living spark of creative power, walking the world, mostly unaware of your own divinity. You wait for luck when you are the source of it. You chase miracles, forgetting you breathe the breath of the miraculous. Every desire you have is a whisper from your deeper self, not a longing for something outside of you, but a call to awaken what already lives within. That desire to be wealthy, loved, healed, free, it is not a sign of lack. It is proof of potential, and so I tell you, the world you see is not fixed. It bends always to the assumptions you hold, not what you wish in idle thought, but what you accept, deeply and emotionally, as true. The secret is this: live from the end, feel it real. Feel now what it would be like to be the person who already has the thing you seek. Walk through life as if the wish has already been granted. Let your inner conversations align with the outcome you desire. Because it is not seeing is believing, and no believing is seeing, your imagination is not play. It is power. It is creation. It is the womb of your reality. And when you imagine with feeling, when you speak within yourself with faith, when you carry yourself as though the unseen is already seen, the world must rearrange itself to reflect that truth. Do you see? You don't need to wait for fortune. You are the fortune. The voice in your head is your greatest sculptor. If you would only revise what it says, you could change everything. If you made peace with your past in imagination, your present would shift. If you honored the feeling of success, even before a dime appeared, you would call it to you. You are not a product of circumstances. Circumstances are a product of you. This world, this theater of experience, reflects back only the consciousness you bring to it. The moment you decide that you are already the person you long to be, the world has no choice but to respond in kind. But do not wait. There is no savior coming. No external force will pick your numbers and hand you the prize. Because you are the operant power, you are the miracle, the divine dreamer asleep in the illusion of limitation, ready to awaken into truth. So I say it again, you are your own lottery ticket, your wealth. Already within you, your healing, alive in your inner conviction, your love, awaiting your embrace of it now. All power is within you. All change begins in you. All reality responds to you. Unlock it. Not with effort, not with strain, but with knowing, with imagination, with feeling, with faith in the unseen. Step into your prize, assume it, accept it, feel it, and watch your world become it. Thank you. The world around you, everything you touch, feel, experience, and navigate, all of it, is not some fixed, external reality imposed upon you. It is, rather, a mirror held up to your innermost beliefs, a reflection of your imagination faithfully echoing what you have assumed to be true, knowingly or unknowingly. Imagination is not daydreaming or escapism. It is the creative faculty of consciousness. It is the womb of reality, where every form, every event, every condition you encounter is first conceived. What you consistently imagine, what you repeatedly accept as real in the unseen theater of your mind, becomes what you eventually meet in the physical world. People often believe the outer world shapes their inner state, that circumstances determine feelings, and facts must be obeyed. But the deeper truth is the reverse. Your outer world is an obedient servant, not a master. It takes its instructions from your inner assumptions. If in your imagination you dwell in the state of poverty, lack, sickness, or rejection, even if just to react to it, worry about it, or resist it, you give that condition life. You animate it. The imagination does not judge whether something is good or bad, wanted or unwanted. It simply creates according to the quality and persistence of your internal state. Whatever you persist in assuming, feeling, or identifying with, whether joy or fear, success or failure, becomes your lived experience. To understand the creative nature of imagination, you must see that reality is fluid, not fixed. It molds itself around your mental imagery and emotional tones. When you begin to consistently imagine from a place of wholeness, when you feel yourself to be already that which you long to become, you shift your vibrational signature. Your consciousness, the only reality, moves, and when it does, everything else must follow. You are not imagining as a weak wish upon the stars. You are imagining as the creative cause of your world. And here lies the mystery. Most people unconsciously misuse this power. They imagine worst-case scenarios. They rehearse defeat. They expect rejection. They dwell on past pain and anticipate its repetition. In doing so, they are not merely remembering or worrying, they are creating. They reinforce that identity, and the world faithfully brings them evidence to confirm it. This cycle is unbroken until one awakens to the truth that imagination is not passive. It is the active, generative force of reality. To use imagination consciously is to begin living deliberately. It means no longer accepting life as it comes, but as you choose it to be. When you imagine lovingly, boldly, consistently, and feel the reality of your imagined state, you sow the seeds of transformation. Your inner conversations change, your self-image shifts, and life begins to arrange itself around your new inner structure. Imagination is not only a tool, it is your identity. You are the imaginer. You are the cause. This isn't about wishing or fantasizing. It is about accepting a truth so fully within that the outer world has no choice but to reflect it back. You may not see instant results, but the process is always in motion. The delay is not denial. The time between assumption and manifestation is a gift, an incubation, a chance to align fully with your new reality. Reality, as you know it, is not carved in stone. It is sculpted in thought. It takes shape from the clay of your imagination. Change your thoughts, your assumptions, your inner conversations, and you change your world. Not through effort or struggle, but through the quiet, persistent knowing that what you feel within, with intensity and faith, must express without. Desire is not something trivial. It is not a fleeting emotion or a random mental event. It is not weakness, nor is it selfishness. True desire, the kind that lingers, returns, and stirs something deep within you, is a divine signal. It is life itself whispering to you what you are meant to become. The moment a desire is born in you, the seed of its fulfillment is also planted. That which you long for is not separate from you. It is calling you to realize the next version of yourself. You do not choose your deepest desires. They are chosen for you through you. They arise from something higher than the mind. You don't need to justify them or explain them to others. The urge to create, to love, to express, to be more, to experience more, these longings are sacred. They are the echoes of your potential reaching forward into time. They are not about getting things, but about revealing who you truly are. Every true desire is the voice of your future self calling you home. The world has conditioned you to mistrust desire, to suppress it, to analyze it, to label it as foolish or impossible. But what the world calls fantasy is often prophecy. The vision you hold in your heart, the life that feels right even before it is real, is not fantasy. It is the blueprint of what you are capable of being, doing, and becoming. When you feel desire, you are not broken, you are being guided. You are not empty, you are being expanded. The desire itself is proof that fulfillment already exists in consciousness, and is seeking to express itself through you. Desire is creative energy in motion. It is the spark that begins the process of manifestation. And yet, most people distrust it. They think, who am I to want this? But the better question is, who am I asterisk not asterisk to? If a desire is deeply felt, if it moves you, pulls at you, and refuses to die, it is not by accident. It is not ego, it is essence. The longing is life itself nudging you forward, asking you to claim the identity that already exists in imagination. Desire does not originate from lack. It comes from knowing an inner awareness that more is possible. You do not desire because you are without. You desire because something greater is already within you, waiting to unfold. The presence of desire means the fulfillment of it is already written in the invisible. What you must do is trust it. Stop questioning whether it is realistic. Stop waiting for permission to want what your soul already knows is yours. When you honor desire, you begin to align with your creative purpose. You step into the role of a conscious creator, not a passive observer of life. You begin to move in rhythm with the unseen. The mind may not understand how the desire will be fulfilled, but the heart does not need to know. It only needs to feel. The feeling is the key, the ignition. It begins the inner process where reality starts shifting in response to your new frequency. Desire is not asking you to beg. It is asking you to believe, to assume, to feel its fulfillment as real and alive within you now. You don't chase desire, you embody it. You become the version of yourself for whom the desire is natural and inevitable. This is not make-believe. It is how reality is shaped from the inside out. The life you long for is already alive in imagination, waiting for your acceptance, waiting for your conviction. And the moment you honor desire as divine, not something to be feared or resisted, you step into the flow of creation itself. To live from the end is to claim the state of fulfillment in consciousness before any outer evidence appears. It is to dwell mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in the feeling that what you desire is already yours. This is not wishful thinking, it is not pretending, it is creation at its most powerful and purest level. You are not hoping that one day your dream might come true. You are accepting, here and now, that it is already done in the unseen, and you are aligning yourself with that reality. Everything in this world is a manifestation of inner states. The conditions you experience, the people you attract, the events you move through, all of it flows from your internal assumptions. If you assume lack, life must show you lack. If you assume success, life must unfold in ways that confirm your belief. But most people live in a constant state of reacting to what is, never realizing that what is has no power except what they give it through repeated attention. To break this cycle, you must do something radical. Feel the end before it begins. When you live from the end, you bypass the need to struggle or strive for your desires. You no longer chase outcomes, you embody them. You move through the world as if the desire were already a fact. You think, speak, and act from that state, not toward it. You begin to feel the confidence, peace, or joy that would naturally come if your dream were already realized. This is the great secret. Reality bends not to your effort, but to your alignment. Imagination is the workshop where this transformation begins. It is in the silence of your mind, in the private moments when no one is watching, that you craft the world to come. By closing your eyes and stepping into the scene of fulfillment, hearing the congratulatory words, touching the results, breathing the atmosphere of success, you impress upon your subconscious the reality of your desire. And the subconscious, which creates your world, does not distinguish between real and imagined when the feeling is sincere. The key is emotional acceptance. It's not enough to say, I want this. You must feel, I am this. This feeling state, this conviction, that it is already so sends a message to the unseen forces of life. It tells the world what to become. When you persist in this feeling, regardless of what your senses tell you, the outer world must conform. It must reconfigure itself to match your inner truth, because consciousness is not reacting to the world, it is creating it. Living from the end requires discipline. It demands that you stop looking at your present conditions as evidence of truth. Your current reality is nothing more than a shadow, the echo of past assumptions. If you continue to believe what the world tells you, you stay stuck. But if you dare to believe in what you have not yet seen, if you trust the unseen over the visible, you begin to operate from the level of true power. This inner stance is not dependent on how things appear. You may be surrounded by lack and still feel wealthy. You may be alone and still feel loved. You may be ill and still feel vibrant and whole. When you hold that feeling persistently, when you become unmoved by appearances and loyal to your desired reality, something begins to shift. The outer must reflect the inner. It is law, and the inner, once claimed and felt as real, becomes the cause of all that follows. You live from the end not to escape your current life, but to give birth to a higher one. You walk as the person who already has, who already is, and who already knows, not because the world shows it, but because your spirit has decided it. This is not arrogance, it is authorship. You are writing your story with the pen of assumption and the ink of feeling. When you live from the end, you are no longer waiting. You are being, and that state of being becomes your world. To assume the wish fulfilled is to live in a state of inner conviction that what you desire is already yours, already complete, already real in the unseen realm of consciousness. It is to bypass the need for physical evidence and plant yourself firmly in the feeling of fulfillment. This is not delusion. This is not ignoring reality. It is creating reality from the inside out. What you assume to be true within yourself, with faith and feeling, will harden into fact. The outer world is not separate from you. It is your reflection. If you wait for the mirror to smile before you do, you will wait forever. You must smile first. You must assume first. Most people live in reaction. They look around, observe the facts, and decide what is possible based on what already is. But what already is has no creative power. It is a result, not a cause. When you assume something new, something bold, something beyond what your senses confirm, you activate the deeper power of your consciousness. You become the cause. You stop reacting and begin originating. You step out of the loop of repetition and into the path of transformation. This act of assumption is not merely intellectual. It's not about saying affirmations you don't believe or thinking thoughts without feeling. Assumption is a state of being. It is the deep inner knowing that I am what I long to be. It is the quiet confidence that moves without proof, speaks without hesitation, and acts without fear. When you assume the wish fulfilled, you don't need to beg, chase, or convince. You already are, and the world must catch up. You may look around and see no sign of your desire. You may feel foolish for believing in something that hasn't appeared, but this is the test and the secret. All creation happens in the unseen before it reaches the visible. The seed grows in darkness before it touches light. The artist sees the masterpiece in the blank canvas long before a single stroke is made. In the same way, your assumption is the invisible blueprint of the life you are building. To assume the wish fulfilled is to mentally and emotionally inhabit the scene of your desire's completion. If you long for love, you feel yourself already cherished, chosen, embraced. If you seek success, you walk and talk as one who has already arrived. You think from the result, not toward it. You don't hope it will come. You know it has come in consciousness, and that is enough. The outer will follow because it must. That is law. And so, the challenge is not to make things happen, but to remain faithful to the assumption, to persist in the inner state even when the outer world shows nothing. Especially then, the greatest transformations occur when you dare to believe in the unseen while surrounded by the opposite. In that gap, that sacred space between assumption and manifestation, you are reshaping reality at its root. You are not waiting for evidence to feel successful. You feel successful and let the evidence form. You are not waiting for healing to feel whole. You feel whole and allow the body to reflect it. You are not waiting to be chosen to feel worthy. You feel worthy, and the world echoes that truth back to you. What you feel inwardly, you experience outwardly. It may not happen instantly, but it will happen inevitably if the assumption is persistent and felt with depth. To assume the wish fulfilled is to take your place as the author of your life, not passively hoping, but actively creating, not asking whether it's realistic, but asking whether it's real in imagination. If it is real there and you accept it, it will become real here. Believe it and you will see it. This is the sacred reversal. This is the power hidden in plain sight. Consciousness is the only reality. It is the beginning and the end, the cause behind every effect you see in the world. Nothing exists for you outside of your awareness of it. The world you experience, the conditions of your life, the people you meet, the opportunities you attract, all of it arises from and is shaped by the contents of your consciousness. The outer world is not separate from you. It is your reflection, your projection, a mirror faithfully responding to what you accept as true about yourself and life. This is not a metaphor, this is law. Most people believe life happens to them. They see events as random, people as external agents, and circumstances as things to which they must adapt. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of how reality works. Nothing comes to you uninvited. It may not be consciously invited, but it is always accepted somewhere in the depths of your being. Your beliefs, your assumptions, your habitual inner conversations, these are the building blocks of your world. Change them, and the world must change in response. Everything begins with self, concept. Who you believe yourself to be sets the tone for every experience that follows. If you believe you are not enough, not worthy, not capable, then no matter how much you strive outwardly, you will find your world confirming that belief. The promotion won't come. The relationship won't last. The opportunity will slip away because your consciousness does not match the life you want. But when you change yourself, concept, when you begin to see yourself as chosen, powerful, loved, worthy, the world cannot help but rearrange itself around this new truth. You do not need to fight circumstances to change them. That is like trying to fix a reflection in the mirror without touching your own face. The mirror has no power. It only shows you what you are. The world is your mirror. It reflects your inner state with absolute precision. If you want something new, you must be something new, not someday now. You must feel it, live it, and accept it in consciousness before you will ever touch it in form. The power is not in controlling the outer world. The power is in mastering your inner world. This is where all transformation begins. Consciousness is not just awareness of what is, it is the creative force that determines what will be. Your imagination, your thoughts, your feelings, these are not idle energies. They are generative. They give birth to the visible. When you think consistently of failure, you are not simply expressing doubt, you are inviting failure into your experience. When you dwell in resentment, you do not merely suffer inwardly, you draw circumstances that match that frequency. But when you rise in thought, When you persist in an elevated state of being, when you choose deliberately how to see yourself, you become the cause, and the effects must follow. Consciousness is not limited by what the senses report. In fact, your senses are the last to know what is truly happening. They are the reporters of yesterday's thoughts. If you live by what you see, you are living by the past. To create the future, you must live by what you know inwardly, in the stillness of your being. You must dare to claim what has not yet appeared, simply because you know your awareness of it is real, and that reality always begins within. The moment you change yourself, concept truly, deeply, everything around you begins to shift. New opportunities appear, old patterns dissolve, the impossible becomes ordinary, because the outer world is never the source. It is only the screen. You are the projector. You are the author. And consciousness is the only reality. Your inner speech is not harmless. It is not idle. It is not a passive stream of thoughts you can afford to ignore. It is the script by which your life unfolds. The words you whisper silently to yourself all day long, whether through praise or self-doubt, encouragement or fear, become the blueprint for your external reality. Every condition you face, every repeated pattern, every unexpected breakthrough or disappointment is born from this internal dialogue. Your inner speech is the seed, and your world is the harvest. What you say within yourself, you believe. And what you believe, you live. The mind doesn't distinguish between a truth declared out loud or a phrase repeated silently in thought. The subconscious listens, it records, it accepts what is impressed upon it through repetition and emotion. When your inner speech aligns with fear, with limitation, with worry, you are not merely entertaining a negative mindset, you are creating from it. You are giving form to what you claim internally. But when your inner speech reflects confidence, fulfillment, gratitude, and peace, even before the outer evidence appears, you begin to draw those very conditions into your life. This is not about lying to yourself. It's about choosing to speak from a higher truth. If you constantly say to yourself, "I never have enough," "I always mess things up," "Things never work out for me," you are not describing life, you are directing it. You are commanding it to stay in the pattern you are narrating, but you have the power to choose a new dialogue, to say instead, "Everything is working in my favor. I am becoming the person I choose to be. Life responds to my inner state." These phrases, when felt deeply and repeated consistently, begin to sink into the soil of your being, and the world, without resistance, obeys. You do not have to wait for something to change before you begin to speak differently. In fact, nothing will change until you do. You cannot receive the life of your dreams while rehearsing the language of lack. You cannot walk into abundance while affirming your limitations under your breath. Your inner speech is the atmosphere you live in. It shapes your mood, your self-image, and your expectations. Change it, and you change the frequency you operate from, and life will begin to mirror that change back to you. To speak as if your dream is already true is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is creation in its purest form. When you declare within yourself that you are already successful, already loved, already whole, you are not denying the present moment, you are rewriting the story that will shape what comes next. You are no longer a victim of appearances. You become the author. Inner speech is the sacred language of creation, and it is always active. The only question is, what are you declaring? It may feel unnatural at first. You may catch yourself slipping into the old stories, the habitual complaints. That's okay. What matters is your awareness and your willingness to revise. When you hear yourself speaking lack or fear within, gently correct it. Replace it with something true to your desired self. Over time, This new inner language becomes your natural way of thinking, and with it, your life begins to rise to match the tone of your thoughts. Inner speech is the conversation between you and the infinite. Every time you affirm what you want as if it already is, you signal to the universe, and more importantly, to your own subconscious, that the change has already been accepted. And once it's accepted within, the outer world must conform. Speak not as one waiting. Speak as one who knows. Speak the end, and let life unfold in accordance. Revision is not about denial. It is not about pretending something didn't happen. It is the conscious use of imagination to reinterpret a past event so that its emotional charge and influence are altered in the present. You are not bound by what happened. You are bound by how you continue to hold it in your consciousness. The past lives in you only through memory, and memory is fluid. What you revise in imagination becomes the new root of experience. And because consciousness is the only reality, that revision radiates forward, reshaping the present and realigning the future. Most people carry their past like a heavy shadow. They replay old mistakes, painful conversations, disappointments, and regrets, believing these events have permanently marked them. But nothing in the past has power unless you keep reanimating it through your inner conversations. It is not the event itself that limits you, it is your reaction to it and your continued identification with it. Revision frees you from that identification. It offers a way to unhook yourself from the emotional weight of a moment and replace it with something that serves your higher vision. To revise is to go back in imagination to a moment that disturbed you, something someone said, something you did or didn't do, a failure, a heartbreak, and replay it differently. You close your eyes, enter the scene, and rewrite it. You imagine a better outcome, a loving word instead of a hurtful one, a success instead of a mistake. And most importantly, you feel the new scene as real. You don't just visualize it, you relive it, emotionally and vividly, until the new version takes root within you. This new memory, though born in imagination, is no less powerful than the original. In fact, it is more powerful because you have consciously chosen it. And once accepted by the subconscious, it begins to shape your emotional responses, your self, concept, and even your relationships. You'll find that people treat you differently, that patterns shift, that something intangible but real has changed because you have changed at the level of consciousness, which is the level of cause. You are not trapped by what was. You are free to reinterpret anything. You are not rewriting history for others. You are rewriting it for yourself. You are changing the meaning of the past so it no longer repeats itself in the present. When you revise, you step outside the timeline of cause and effect, as the world knows it, and operate in a higher order where imagination precedes reality. This is not fantasy. This is how reality is made. You can revise moments from your childhood that planted limiting beliefs. You can revise the job interview that didn't go well. You can revise the conversation where you felt misunderstood, and you do it not to avoid responsibility, but to reclaim your authorship. You are not a prisoner of past emotions unless you choose to be. Through revision, you release resentment, shame, guilt, and fear. You install in their place new emotional truths, ones aligned with love, power, and fulfillment. The effects are often subtle at first, then unmistakable. People involved in the original scene may respond differently. Circumstances may unfold as if the revised moment really happened. This is the power of consciousness. It does not follow linear time. It responds to feeling, belief, and identity. When you revise a memory and assume the new version as true, your present self begins to live from that truth, and your world rearranges to match it. Your past does not define you. Your asterisk interpretation asterisk of the past does, and interpretation is entirely within your control. Revision is not just healing, it is creation. It is the refusal to be bound by the stories of pain and the choice to write new ones deliberately, imaginatively, and courageously. The moment you revise, reality listens. The moment you accept the new scene, life begins to reflect it. Faith is loyalty to the unseen, not blind optimism or passive hope, but a deep, unshakable inner conviction in the reality that lives in your imagination. It is the ability to remain anchored in what is not yet visible, to walk in the feeling of the fulfilled desire, even when your senses scream the opposite. Faith is not about what you see, hear, or touch. It is about what you no asterisk within. It is a silent, unwavering agreement with a version of life that exists only in consciousness, yet governs all that will unfold in form. The outer world is not the final authority. It is the shadow cast by previous assumptions, the echo of old beliefs. What appears to be a fixed fact is often just a temporary manifestation of an earlier state of mind. Faith does not concern itself with these shadows. Faith looks beyond the moment, beyond appearances, and sees only the end already achieved. It speaks from the mountaintop while the feet are still in the valley. It praises the rain while the sky remains dry. It blesses the outcome before the evidence appears. This kind of faith is not naive, it is creative. It is the foundation of all manifestation. Nothing is brought into being without first being claimed in imagination and held with loyalty. The seed of every future is planted in the invisible soil of belief. You cannot reap the fruits of joy, love, or abundance if you are loyal only to the evidence of lack. You must choose every day to side with your vision instead of your fear. To remain faithful to the unseen is to live in the cause, not the effect. When you desire something deeply, earnestly, that desire is not a fantasy. It is a revelation. It is life itself showing you what you are capable of becoming. But it can only come into form if you stay loyal to it. Most people waver. They allow the facts of the moment to dictate what is real. They look at their bank account, their relationship status, their circumstances, and say, "This is the truth." But faith says, "This is old truth. My new truth lives within me, and I remain loyal to it." Faith is tested in silence, in solitude, when nothing appears to be changing, but those are the sacred moments when everything is being formed. The unseen is not absence, it is potential. The longer you persist in assuming the truth of what you desire, the more natural it feels. The more natural it feels, the more it is impressed upon the subconscious. And the subconscious creates without resistance what it accepts as fact. To remain faithful means to mentally return, again and again, to the state of the wish fulfilled. To imagine the scene that implies your dream is real and feel it. Not as a distant fantasy, but as a present moment truth. You live in that state not to escape the now, but to transform it. When you hold the inner vision with faith, the outer world will bend. People, events, and opportunities will appear, not because you forced them, but because you remained loyal to the higher order of things. Faith is not effort, it is rest, it is knowing, it is stillness in the midst of chaos. It is smiling when there's no reason to, speaking success when you haven't seen it, choosing peace when the world gives you every reason to worry. It is not being swayed by facts, but by truth, and truth begins within. The unseen is not less real. It is more real because it has not yet been diluted by fear or doubt. The unseen is the source, and faith, properly applied, is your sacred agreement to trust in it more than anything else. You are the operant power, This truth does not flatter, it liberates. There is no higher force outside of you deciding what your life will become. No fate, no luck, no external deity is controlling the outcomes you experience day to day. The responsibility and the power rests entirely within you. Life does not happen asterisk to asterisk you. It happens asterisk through asterisk you. The world is your mirror, faithfully reflecting the assumptions, beliefs, and states of consciousness you consistently occupy. To understand this is to understand that you are not a victim of circumstances, but the author of them. The idea that someone or something outside of you is determining your destiny is one of the most deeply embedded illusions. It offers a convenient escape from responsibility. If things go wrong, you can blame timing, fate, karma, or another person, but none of those are the source. The source is always your consciousness. You are the one who feels, thinks, assumes, and reacts, and those inner activities are the blueprints of your outer world. To realize that you are the operant power is to awaken from the sleep of powerlessness. It is to rise from the passenger seat and claim your role as the driver. No matter what has happened to you in the past, no matter how long a pattern has persisted, nothing is set in stone. The moment you change your inner state, you set a new direction. That shift does not require force. It requires awareness and alignment. You must begin to assume the truth of your desired state and persist in it regardless of what the outer world currently reflects. It will catch up because it must. The world responds not to what you want, but to who you are being. There is no need to ask for permission. There is no need to plead with the universe. You do not need to earn your desires or prove yourself worthy. You are the power that brings them forth. You are not a beggar at the gates of reality, you are the architect. Your imagination is the drawing board, your feelings the emotional ink, your assumptions the silent commands that shape the flow of life around you. This power does not make you better than others. It makes you responsible for yourself, and that responsibility is a gift. Because when you stop waiting for someone else to change, when you stop waiting for the right moment, the right person, the right circumstance, you realize that nothing outside of you needs to shift for your life to begin transforming. The moment you change, everything else begins to move. You are the fixed point in your universe, the axis around which it all turns. This is not about control in the egoic sense. It is about alignment with the deeper truth of who you are. You are consciousness itself, creative, limitless, and self-aware. And that consciousness is always creating, whether you realize it or not. The question is not whether you are creating, but how and from what state Are you creating from fear or love, from lack or abundance, from limitation or freedom? Whatever you assume to be true of yourself, and your world becomes the law under which your life unfolds. When you finally accept feeling is the secret. It is the hidden force behind every manifestation, the vital current that electrifies your imagination and brings it to life. Without feeling, your thoughts are empty echoes, mere intellectual exercises that drift aimlessly without impact. But when you add feeling, when you saturate your imagination with the emotional energy of belief, you ignite a powerful creative process. It is not enough to think about what you want, you must feel it as if it is already true. This emotional charge is the magnet that pulls your desire out of the unseen and into the visible world. Many people misunderstand the role of feeling in creation. They believe that positive thinking alone is enough, or that logical affirmations will change their reality. But the mind is not a mechanical tool. It is a living field of energy, and feeling is its fuel. When you imagine a future outcome but do not feel it, You are like a car without gas. It will not move forward. Feeling gives momentum. It makes your inner vision tangible, believable, and urgent. It dissolves doubt and fills your entire being with the certainty of fulfillment. Feeling is not superficial emotion, nor is it fleeting excitement. It is a deep, settled state of conviction. It is the sensation you experience when your desire is already fulfilled. This feeling may manifest as joy, peace, gratitude, love, or confidence. It saturates your consciousness so fully that it becomes your new reality in the inner world. When you reach this place, your subconscious mind accepts it as fact, and from that acceptance, the outer world begins to respond. The reason feeling is so powerful is because it speaks the language of your subconscious, which governs all your habits, behaviors, and perceptions. Your subconscious cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined feeling and an actual experience. When you feel your desire with intensity, you impress it upon your subconscious as real. This leads to a shift in your beliefs and automatic responses. You begin to act and think in ways consistent with your fulfilled desire, naturally attracting circumstances and people that align with it. It is often said that people fail to manifest their desires because they do not truly believe in them. This disbelief is almost always an emotional issue rather than an intellectual one. You may say the right words, repeat affirmations, and visualize the perfect scene, but if your heart is not in it, if you do not feel it deeply, your efforts are like seeds planted in barren soil. They will not grow. To truly create, you must move beyond mental assent to emotional resonance. You must live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it becomes your habitual state. Feeling also bridges the gap between imagination and reality. When you feel your desire as real, you create a vibrational match that draws the physical manifestation to you. This is not magic. It is natural law, like attracts like. Your emotions set the frequency for what you attract and experience. Negative feelings attract negative outcomes. Positive, empowered feelings attract positive outcomes. By consciously cultivating the feeling of your fulfilled desire, you become a beacon for its arrival. Moreover, feeling energizes persistence. When the outer world seems slow to respond, feeling keeps your inner state alive and vibrant. It prevents discouragement, doubt, and impatience from creeping in. It sustains your creative power through the unseen process, holding you steady in the conviction that your desire is inevitable. Feeling turns desire into faith, and faith into reality. In every moment, you have the choice to tune your feelings. You can dwell on what is missing, or you can immerse yourself in the sensation of having already received. This choice determines the quality of your life experience and the speed of your manifestations. Feeling is the secret because it transforms mere thoughts into living realities. It charges your imagination with the power to create worlds and rewrite your destiny. The deeper you feel it, the sooner you see it. In every word shared today, one truth shines clearly. The power to shape your life lies within you. You are not subject to chance or circumstance. You are the creator, the operant force behind your reality. Your imagination, charged by feeling and guided by faith, holds the key to unlocking your highest potential. By mastering your inner speech, revising your past, and living steadfastly in the reality of your desires, you claim your role as the architect of your destiny. Remember, you are your own lottery ticket, the unlimited prize waiting to be revealed. Trust in the unseen, feel deeply, and step confidently into the life you are meant to live. The power to transform is already in your hands.